Ohio. Visaginas, the city in the northeast of Lithuania in the Utena County. Center of Visaginsky self-government. Arose as the satellite town of nowadays closed Ignalina AS. The only Lithuanian city where absolutely prevail Russian and Russian-speaking. Construction was begun in 1975 as satellite town of the Ignalina nuclear power plant. The village of Visaginas, which was liquidated, was in the place of future city. From the beginning of construction of the first houses, the huge boulder, by outlines the reminding contour of Lithuania, was delivered. Day of his installation is announced on August 10 by the City Day. In 1977 the status of the urban-type settlement under the name Snekkas. In honor of the first Secretary of the Communist Party of Lithuania in 1940-1974 Antanas Snekkas was received. In 1992 it was renamed into Visaginas by the name of the lake on the bank of which there is a settlement. In 1994 the status of the city was received. On December 31, 2009 the Ignalina NPP was stopped and its decommissioning began. There were plans of construction in the neighborhood of the city of new nuclear power plant in cooperation with Latvia, Estonia and the Japanese company Hitachi by 2021, however the project wasn't implemented. Language requirements, most on Lithuanian, Russian and other languages were imposed to the name. However the new settlement was called Snekkas. In honor of the first Secretary of the Communist Party of the Lithuanian Sir Antanas Snekkas. This name was approved on September 26, 1977 by the decree of Presidium of the Supreme Council of the Lithuanian Sir. On September 22, 1992 Decree Air. -2899 of the Seimas of Lithuania the city was renamed into Visaginas, on the lake of the same name which is nearby. The etymology of the name can be connected with a phrase of Visaginasi. All are protected. According to a legend in the lake there were many snakes from whom all had to be protected. When choosing the new name considered also options. Druxia. By the name of the lake on the bank of which there is the Ignalina NPP and offered originally Celia. The architectural project of the city and the majority of buildings was created by the Leningrad architects Boris Lokhtov, Yuri Weimer and others. They developed the modern master plan of the city considering the last at the time town planning trends. The working draft of the city executed Department of the Leningrad All-Union Research and Design and Survey Institute of the Power Equipment, the Ministry of Average Mechanical Engineering. Architects of Vipiat were nominated for receiving the state award of the USR for the project of the city, however, in connection with the collapse of the USR, couldn't receive it. In the city 248 houses are constructed. Prevail to 5 and 9 floor houses of the Vilnius, Kaunas, Klaipėda and Abninsk plannings. The highest building is inhabited the 16th floor house on Taikos Avenue. Within the city in a distance from houses there is a Visaginsky TV tower 250 m high. For service premises and kindergartens built 1-story and 2-storied buildings. To construction of the NPP and the city from all USA there came qualified professionals from different spheres. Also parts of construction troops were involved. In the city of 13 streets, Sedelinos Avenue, Takos Avenue which length is 2.6 km, and Centaur Square. Length of all streets is about 45 km. Streets, avenues and other roads with an asphalt covering make 20 kilometers of them. Intra-quarter drives with an asphalt covering in the inhabited territory and in the territory of public appointment make 25 km. Visaginas is the most east city of the country. Is in a northeast border part of Lithuania, in 125 km to the northeast of Vilnius in the east of the Utena county, near the lake Visaginas. Visaginsky self-government borders on Zarasayski regional self-government, in the south with Ignalina in the north. Approximately in 10 kilometers from the city there pass borders with Latvia and Belarus. It is located in the pine forest. Around the city there are about 110 lakes of various size. In comparison with other cities of the country, Visaginas differs in big annual temperature drops, colder and long winters with abundance of snow, but in shorter summer. The average amount of precipitation is also higher. Average temperature of 5 coldest days in a year is 27 C. An absolute record of positive temperature minus 36 C and negative 40 C. Average annual amount of precipitation minus 638 m. About 65% of rainfall drop out during the period from April to October. Snow cover sticks to 110 days a year. Average thickness of snow cover is 16 cs and maximum minus 64 cs. In the region the western and southern winds dominate. The strongest winds blow in the direction of the west and the southwest. Average annual speed of wind is 3.5 m/s. The maximum speed of wind can reach 28 m/s. The calm is about 6% of time and in the summer no more day, and in the winter no more than 2 days lasts. For January 1, 2020 the population made 18024 persons. According to data of a national population census of 2011, 22585 people lived in the city. It is 23.6% less than in 2001 that there was record falling of the population in percentage relationship among all cities of the country. This city is the only thing where most of the population was born not in Lithuania. 531 persons are the share of 1,000 people who were born abroad that by 4 times surpasses the second in this indicator city. Also the city is allocated with the number of the living citizens, 6.3%. 1.4 thousand people. Citizenship of Russia, 0.9%. 0.2 thousand. Belarus, 0.7%. 0.2 thousand. Ukraine, 0.4%. 0.1 thousand. Other countries. That is all minus 8.3% of the population. It depends. In Lithuania the total number of foreign citizens makes 0.2%. The population of the city, since its basis, constantly grew, having reached 36100 inhabitants in 1996. Having for the first time shown negative dynamics of growth in 1997, the population of the city continues to decrease annually. On population density. On 1 square kilometer minus 3723 inhabitants. The city in 1998 took the second place in Lithuania. According to a population census of 2011, the greatest percent of the population of the city is made by people from 50 to 59 years and from 40 to 49 years, more than a third of all inhabitants together forming. Such structure of the population is explainable aging of the youth moving here at city building and the NPP, and also emigrations of their children after inclusion of Lithuania to the Schengen area. At the beginning of 2018 in the city of 61.4% of the population there were working age, 23%, pension, 15.6%, children up to 15 years. Visaginas, the only city in Lithuania where prevail Russian and Russian-speaking. Russian carries out a lingua franca role here. On the smallest share of Lithuanians, the city takes the second place in the country. Education. On a share of the population of people with the higher education, the city takes the sixth place in the general list and the third in the list of the cities without higher educational institutions. On a population share with education above an average, the second in the country. 79.4%. On July 19, 1994, Decree No. 1558 of the Government of Lithuania founded Visaginsky city self-government as a part of the Utena County. In 2003, territorial borders of self-government were expanded, the new name, Visaginsky self-government. Management of self-government is performed by the mayor and the city council, numbering 25 people elected on direct elections by residents for a period of 4 years. Vladimir Churov, who was before the plenipotentiary of the government of Lithuania, became the first mayor with the establishment of this position in 1995. After this position was held by 4 persons, including one acting as. Since 2019, the mayor is Erlandas Galagas. Vladimir Churov. 1995-1999. Antanas Ivanauskas. 1999-2000 acting as. Vytautas Ratkauskas. 2000-2011. Dolov Shatrapate. 2011-2019. Erlandas Galagas. Since 2019. Economy. In 2020, the size of the planned city budget was €27,909,726. From them, nearly €16 million have to be collected as taxes and €9.87 million grants. According to the project, within the city there are only residential quarters. All production was placed in several kilometers from the city in the territory of the current Visaginsky self-government. In Soviet period, near the city were located base of the construction industry, BC, militarized construction group, MAC, control of motor transport, WAT, management of mechanization and motor transport, Concrete plant. Plant of reinforced concrete structures. Milk plant. With restoration of independence of Lithuania, the enterprises were privatized. Apart from them of Visaginas, some fell into decay and were closed. The Ignalina NPP, after the beginning of a conclusion of an object from operation, remains the largest city enterprise at which as of the beginning of 2020 15 people worked. Also in the territory of self-government are Visaginas furniture factory, Visatex garment factory, Intersurgical medical equipment factory. Construction is begun on January 31, 2020. Transport. Through the city railroad Vilnius to Gavpils runs. With Vilnius, the city is connected on 6 daily flights to both parties, lasting about 2 hours. With Daugavpils only on Saturdays and Sundays 2-3 times a day in both parties, lasting about a half an hour. The city is near the highway Vilnius-Zarasai. The geographical location causes rather low interest of trucks from total number -2.2%, that is 4 times less than an average value over the country. Visaginas connect daily bus flights with settlements. Vilnius, Kaunas, Daugavpils, Daugštis, Zarasai, Ignalina, Jonava, Pabrade, Rimši, Salakas, Termantas, Akmerch, Utina, Švenčionys. On the Belk Road around the city ply the city bus which is coming around to the station, and private minibuses. Several local taxi services work. Culture. Utsa to the building of administration of Visaginsky self-government on a high steel, the bird soaring in air, a crane, the main symbol of the city in heraldry since ancient times, symbolizing care, vigilance, is established. Memorial stone of the city. In the summer of 1975, first builders brought and put a huge boulder which contours remind Lithuania near the basis of the first apartment houses. Installation date of a stone is declared on August 10 by a birthday of the city. On a stone the commemorative plaque with the text in the Lithuanian and Russian languages is established. Massachusetts grave of the Soviet soldiers of World War II. In 1984, in the neighborhood of the village Lithuania, several kilometers from the city, the found remains of 4 soldiers were buried in crossing of streets Taikos and Kosmoso. The identity of soldiers weren't identified. At the initiative of veterans of war of the city in 1996 the project was prepared, and in 1998 the brick stele with inscription, 1939-1945, symbolizing years of war is put. The Church of the Saint Apostle Pavel is constructed in 1998. Orthodox Church of the Saint Great Martyr Paneleman. Cemetery of the village Mygonge and Chapel. Cross in the village Kulvishkie in memory of the 500th anniversary of death of Witold Veliki. Museums. With 2014 in the Center of Cultures, the regional museum Visaginas, in which photo archives, sets of souvenirs and other objects having historical value are exposed functions. Ethnographic and Historical Museum. It is based on February 24, 1984. Aquarian Salon since 2000. In the city a number of annual cultural events is held. Since the beginning of 1991 in the middle of August the annual International Festival of Country Music, Visagino Country, is held. Except for the period from 1995 to 1999 when every 2 years was carried out, it is carried out annually. In different years musicians from such countries as Australia, Great Britain, Canada, Latvia, Lithuania, Netherlands, Norway, Russia, USA, Czechoslovakia, Estonia participated in a festival. The Children's Country Viltis Festival within the basic Festivacija by Visagino Country. In the first half of August festive and cultural events in honor of the city day are held. With 201 years in July on the city lake competitions by boats, dragons, between the amateur teams which are brought together from various professional collectives of the city are held. Festival of solo performances at Spindis. Sport. The Visaginas Central Stadium accommodates 3,000 viewers and is equipped with track and field athletics paths around the natural field. Nearby there is a spare arena with stands on 200 people. On the bank of the lake the rowing base which was modernized in 201X is located. In winter time on the city lake inhabitants with assistance of self-government clear away a skating rink. There is a possibility of rent of figured skates. In branch of the sports center the 25-meter swimming pool with 3 paths is located. In the Visaginas Sports Center 11 sports are presented. Sports aerobics, sports acrobatics, trampolining, canoe racing, biathlon, boxing, soccer, Greco-Roman wrestling, basketball, track and field athletics, cross-country skiing. Local pupils Vadim Gusev, Alexei Novoselsky and Irina Tarantyeva participated in the Olympic Games and also became repeated champions of Lithuania. Irina Tarantyeva is also a bronze prize winner of the World Cup among juniors of 2002, the silver prize winner of the European Junior Olympic Festival of 2001. In different years Yuri Darzniak, Avina Kolba, Natalia Kachergina and Stepan Tarantyev also were a part of the national team. Stepan Tarantyev is a bronze prize winner of the Junior European Championship of 2012. In Visaginas there is the only school of sports acrobatics in Lithuania. 1996, 2004 of steel the most successful for local athletes, 13 of which won medals of the World Cups in Europe. From 1979 to 2011 in the city there was a football club, Interas L, which highest achievement was the 10th place in the highest division of the Championship of Lithuania in 2007. The Visaginas Central Stadium was the home arena of club. In the second most powerful league in the late 90s I played also football club Visaginas L. In the city short-term international tournaments are regularly held. From 2000 to 2018 the International Tournament of Veterans of Soccer of Memory of Vladimir Shurov, the first mayor. From 2010 to 2015 the Tournament of Memory of Nikolai Medvedev was annually held. Teams from other cities of Lithuania, Belarus, Latvia, Russia participated in competitions. From 1991 to 2019, Visaginas Cup, on 5A side to which the tournament on a Cup of Tico succeeded was held. Healthcare. In 1978 in the settlement of the time medical and sanitary part No. 136 was created. In 1979 in temporary rooms the hospital was created. In 1983, the military hospital on 150 beds in which rendered the emergency surgical help and carried out resuscitation for employees of construction battalion and locals was put into operation. In 1984 activity there began the polyclinic where in the next 3 years new offices were open. In 1988 the main building of hospital on 300 beds was put in operation. In 1991 the medical and sanitary part received Snekkaskaya status. And then Visaginas Republican Hospital, one of 9 in the country. In 1997 the hospital was restructured and divided into 3 organizations. Polyclinic, hospital and station of ambulance. Current state. In the city functions state hospital and the center of primary supervision behind health. Polyclinic. The private centers of health of Medica and Sedalina, several odontologicheski clinics and offices. In hospital 188 beds are equipped, there are 14 structural offices in which 68 doctors work. Total number of personnel is 330 people. In the center of primary supervision behind health 26 doctors work. During COVID-19 pandemic as of December 31, 2020 in the city 789 people. 4.3% of the population got sick. Massachusetts media. In the city broadcast 2 cable TV Sugardas and seats channels on which there are local news. Since 1995 there is a weekly newspaper in Russian of Sugardas, consisting of 16 strips, the monthly circulation of 800 copies. Since 2019 the newspaper from self-government of Visinfo, which is containing materials in the Russian and Lithuanian languages, and replaced a former analog under the name, To Each House, is distributed for free. Materials of newspapers are also published in electronic form. Communication. The city code of a fixed telephony. Plus 370. 386 since 2002. Before there was code. Plus 370. 266. Numbers 5-digit. Mobile communication is provided by Republican operators, Byte, Tele2, Teledema and Telia. Internet. Seats became the first provider in 1994. Then TD opened. Then they went bankrupt and were redeemed by Gates. Now in Visaginas only 2 providers, Gates and Telia. In the city 2 post offices function. International cooperation. Since 1999 Visaginas signed contracts on cooperation with 8 cities and 1 urban area from Belarus, Latvia, Poland and Russia. Poland since 1999 a contract on business development, cooperation in the fields of healthcare, social guardianship, education of youth, education, culture, sport and tourism. Russia since 2003 the contract on development of a friendly relationship, development of business, exchanges in areas of culture and education. Ukraine since 2003 the contract on bilateral actions. For a joint solution of the problem of the monoprofile cities having a common problem, a stop of operation of the NPP. Belarus since 2008 the contract on cooperation in the fields of the industry, education, healthcare, culture and art, development of tourism and sport, ecology and rational use of natural resources. The District of Moscow, since 2008 the Memorandum of Cooperation in the fields of economy, science and technology, culture, social protection, healthcare and nature protection, tourism and sport. Belarus, since 2011 the Contract on Cooperation in areas of development of the industry and business, education and healthcare, culture and art, tourism and sport, ecology and rational use of resources. Belarus, since 2014 the Contract on Cooperation in the fields of education, culture, sport, development of business and economy. Latvia, since 2014 the Contract on Cooperation in the fields of business, tourism, education, sport and culture and also about exchange of national handicraftsmen and collectives of creative amateur performance, implementation of joint projects, the organization of cultural and entertaining actions, exchange of information and experience in various areas of economy. Poland, since 2018 the Contract on Cooperation in the fields of business, tourism, education, sport and culture and also about exchange of national handicraftsmen and collectives of creative amateur performance, implementation of joint projects, the organization of cultural and entertaining actions, exchange of information and experience in various areas of economy. Other. Since 1994 the Visaginas Hospital cooperates with the Saint Hospital of Elizabeth and Saint Barbara from the German city of Halle. Twice a year the German partners send humanitarian aid. Education. 2 pro-gymnasiums, 2 gymnasiums, and the Center of Vocational Education, 2 technologies and business work, 1 main. Gymnasium of Atjamimo. Before no. Teaching in Russian. The status of a gymnasium since 2000. Gymnasium of Verdians. No. Teaching in Lithuanian. The status of a gymnasium since 2009. Progymnasium of Purosius Vilts. No. Teaching in Russian. The status of a progymnasium with 20 acts. Progymnasium of Tragists. In 200 acts it is created on the basis of high schools of Atetes. Ataites. No. Anatalino. No. Teaching in Russian. The status of a progymnasium since 2015. Main school, Giberio. 2 institutions of informal education, 5 children's gardens, Yasil, Visaginsky School of Arts of Czeslovas Sasnaskas, Visaginsky House of Creativity and the Visaginsky Sports Center belong. Also some other the organizations works in the city. Center of Oriental Martial Arts. Physics and Technology School. Center of a State Language. Tennis Club. In Art. In 2018 on the Ignalina nuclear power plant there took place shootings of the American miniseries, Chernobyl. The rank of the honorable citizen Visaginas is handed for special merits before the city in areas of economy, development of business, culture, art, education, sport, charity, on representation of the mayor and is approved by council. Ranks are awarded 22 persons, 3 from them posthumously. For special merits in political and educational activity. Famous inhabitants: Anatoly Ponomaryev, Valentin Eremenko, Margarita Simonova, Alina Orlova, Irina Terentyeva, Natalia Kachergina, Alexei Novoselsky, Arturas Sias. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.